There's no better mentor for you than the person who's already done exactly what you're trying to do. Hello, YouTube. We're back. I'm Christian. This is Cody, and we are joined today by Caleb. Cody, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about if it's worth it to pay for mentorship.
Now, we may be slightly biased because we do actually have a program. However, this is a general topic because there are a lot of mentors out there, a lot of gurus, a lot of really bad ones, a few really good ones. So we want to talk about your experience, Caleb, because you actually have a company that takes these courses, audits these courses, and while you've been through ours, you've done a lot of other ones as well. So we wanted to open this up as just a neutral, what works, what doesn't, and is mentorship right for you? So Caleb, talk a little bit about your experience just overall with mentorship groups. Again, the goal here is not to advertise us, it's just overall, what has your experience been?
Yeah, great question. So I, for one, am a huge proponent of paying for education. Before I met you guys, I was actually doing the whole work for free for somebody, help him out. He was a local syndicator in San Diego. It didn't really get me to where I wanted to be. It was didn't really help me out, almost was doing just BS work, just the busy tasks. So that didn't really get me to where I wanted to be. With real mentorship, you're paying to learn how to end up where you want to be. So picking a right mentor is incredibly important. And if you can find the right mentor and mentor under them for a fee, I 100% think it is worth doing.
However, is it 100% necessary? Can someone do it without mentorship?
I think if somebody can 100% do it without mentorship, it's just the question comes down to how valuable is your time to you. For me, it completely expedited the process. I got deals by the time I was 20 years old. If I didn't take mentorship, it would have definitely taken a few years longer and I wouldn't known anything today.
That's fair. So what defines the right mentorship? You said finding the right mentor. It's worth it if you find them. What would the right mentor be for you?
Yeah, for me, I was a broke kid. I was 18 years old when I met you guys, and I had no money. I'm like, how do I buy real estate? I just want to buy real estate. I don't want to be a syndicator. I don't want to be a flipper, all this. I just wanted to own the buildings. And that's exactly what you guys taught how to do. You didn't need your own money, and that's what you preached. So that's what made you guys right for me. I mean, if somebody wants to go be a flipper, there are tons of flipping mentors out there. If you want to be a wholesaler, find a mentor that's killed in wholesaling. If you want to be a syndicator, which I do not, go find a great syndicating mentor. But it's all in line with what your goals are.
So alignment of goals, and then as far as track record, because you took a leap of faith with us, and we're newer to partnership. I think we had been working together for less than a year. So what instills confidence? Like, what should someone look for when they're finding the right person, regardless of whether it's us or someone else on the internet, just as a track record to say, okay, this person probably knows what they're doing?
Yeah, I think track record is incredibly important. You guys had already gotten started on your real estate journey, but I think track record isn't as important as you would make it out to be. What I mean by that is you guys had just been getting started on real estate. Cody was younger than Christian. You guys were both younger when you guys were doing this whole thing, but what you had accomplished already was incredibly impressive. Cody started out with no money, and then Christian, you guys bought the 38-plex. That was just incredibly impressive. Bought an asset nobody could ever own. That milestone spoke for a track record itself. But as far as the length of a track record, I think that's less important than what they've accomplished as a mentor.
It's kind of like the financials on a property. Like I would like to see what's happened over the last few years, but if I'm going to buy a property, what really matters to me is what happened in the last 3 months. Like, how is it performing today, and is that where I want to be? So I actually really love that because I think that works on multiple levels.
We have a whole bunch of principles that we like to talk about, but how has that really impacted you? Because there's a lot of people right now that seem to be losing real estate. They followed some gurus online that lacked some structured principles, and now they're starting to swing and miss. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's there's a lot of bad advice on the internet, to say the least. I think there's a lot of people that try to use the fancy diction, big words, big terms to make themselves seem smarter than they are. They try to put themselves up on a pedestal over you. And so they kind of gives them kind of look at them as a god among men. You're like, oh my God, this guy's a genius. He knows everything he's doing. And then now it's like a few years later, it's biting him in the butt with the floating rate debt. It's kind of the primary reason people are losing their assets. So I think it's just vetting the mentor and kind of thinking the strategy through with common sense with the floating rate debt stuff. I mean, I have none of that. I did long-term fixed rate debt and seller finance notes like you guys taught me. But the floating rate stuff, it's just kind of thinking critically about it. It's if we're at back then you were at 3.5 to 4. If we're at this, and I mean, nobody knew the market was going to be where it is today, but you're like, hey, if that goes the other way instead of the rates going down, what's going to happen? And then a lot of people are starting to lose their assets, like you said.
Talk a little bit about common sense and the logic test. I think that's going to be foreign to a lot of people in 2023.
That it is. I think just not taking everybody's word for it just for the word. Like if people are like, "Oh, I own 1,000 units. I did this with no money." It's like, okay, then you want to dig a little deeper. Maybe they are like, maybe they're incredible. Maybe they do own all those units, none of their own money. They can teach you exactly how to do it. But usually, if they're one of the gurus online, they're really not what they're made out to be. There are very few people who are truly good mentors and actual gurus of the game.
Absolutely agree. And as you're starting to find this, like there's a few things that you said that I absolutely love. So I want to summarize a little bit of this. So first of all, you want to find someone who's done what you're trying to do, right? You want to follow the right mentor doing the right thing. Then we've identified there's a lot of bad mentors who have bad advice. So if I could summarize the right way to do this, it would be first, before you might find the mentor, choose a strategy that you can follow that passes the logic test. A big piece that we use as example there is like fixed rate debt versus floating rate. What one makes the most sense to you? What says stability? Okay, let's find the people who've done that. You're going to narrow it down. Ideally, this isn't a necessity, but ideally you're going to look for people who are closer to your geography or in your market. I like that idea a lot because there's no better mentor for you than the person who's already done exactly what you're trying to do. So the closer you can get to that, I think is what you're looking for. And then what have they done lately? Because I see a lot of people who they start their companies, maybe they did something cool, but then they shifted and found out, oh, I can make a whole bunch of money online just talking about this. I haven't played the game recently because I've just become a talking head. You want to try to avoid those people because they're usually very high on ego and very low on actual applicable knowledge today. That's what I've found.
Absolutely. Make sure that you're looking at the people that are playing the game, because at the end of the day, everything you want to do and everything that you want out of the world, someone else has. Everything you want, someone else has. Everything you want to do, someone else has done within reason. I mean, if you're Elon, then maybe not. Then you're doing your own thing. However, you have to look to the people that have done what you want to do. And it's cool to build a big business, but it's really cool to not lose it. That's why that's some of our principles: how to buy it, how to never lose it. Do the logic test. Make sure you're looking at, is it feasible that this will be around in 30 years? Is it stable? Is it going anywhere? Is it going to crumble out in a couple of years? There's some people out there that had a lot of programs that are losing thousands of apartments right now. Unfortunate place to be. So make sure that you're looking at that for the long term. And Caleb, you've done a really good job of that, not just with us, but vetting the people that you let into your universe. So give you a little applause on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then one thing I wanted to piggyback on you a little more. You were talking about how somebody's already done what you're looking to do. You don't like I've talked this a lot on my channel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're not trying to go out and do something crazy like Elon is trying to reinvent the whole universe, whatever he's doing. But somebody's done what you want to do. It's just following the steps they did and learning from the mistakes they made. Because nobody's perfect. You all make mistakes in the journey. Can't let fear stop you. But just learning from what they did right and what they did wrong even more is going to get you that next level.
Love it. Well, Caleb, appreciate you being on here for episode number 2 or 3 or 4, whichever one this is. But we appreciate you jumping on. And for those who are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, check out Caleb's channel. Caleb has a YouTube channel. We'll link that down below. And we'll see you next time.